An Iranian drone swarm and missile salvo damages a U.S. guided missile destroyer. And the naval escalation that follows rewrites the rules of engagement for every warship in the Gulf. Saturday, 2:23 a.m., the northern Persian Gulf, 48 miles east of Bahrain. USS Carney, an Arleigh Burke-class Flight 1A destroyer, 9,800 tons, operating as the lead escort vessel for a coalition logistics convoy, was tracking 17 surface contacts and 11 aerial contacts when the threat picture changed in under 4 seconds. The change began with an emission, a radar return characteristic of the Shahed-238, Iran's jet-powered loitering munition, faster than the propeller-driven Shahed-136, equipped with an electro-optical seeker capable of terminal homing on a vessel's hull signature, appearing at 11 kilometers, bearing 027. Then 3 more returns, then 7. Then the electronic warfare suite aboard Carney triggered its automated alert at 2:23:41 a.m. Multiple inbound aerial tracks, bearing northeast, closing at 290 kilometers per hour. 11 Shahed-238s in a coordinated swarm, not a probe, an attack. The Carney's commanding officer had 4 minutes and 12 seconds before the lead drone reached his ship's close-in defense envelope. In those 4 minutes, he ordered the ship to full battle stations, activated the ANNSLQ-32 electronic warfare suite in jamming mode, brought the Phalanx CIWS to automatic engagement, and tasked the 5-inch deck gun to begin suppressive fire against the tightest cluster of inbound contacts. He also transmitted an immediate threat warning to every vessel in the convoy. 6 coalition ships, including a British Type 23 frigate and a French Lafayette-class frigate, now receiving the same threat picture on Link 16 and turning their own weapons toward the inbound swarm. What Iran had designed into this attack was a sequencing problem. The 11 drones were the first wave. They were not designed to all reach the target. They were designed to saturate the point defense sequence, to force Phalanx and CRAM in the EW suite to track, prioritize, and engage in rapid succession, consuming attention and interceptors, so that what came behind the drones would face a degraded, partially exhausted defense. What came behind the drones was a pair of C-802 anti-ship missiles, launched from a fast attack craft that had been running dark 17 kilometers northeast of Carney's position for 2 hours, waiting for the drone swarm to trigger the ship's defenses. What's your assessment? Type A if you believe Iran's drone plus missile sequencing tactic, using a swarm to exhaust close-in defenses before releasing the primary weapon, represents a genuine doctrinal evolution that changes how U.S. Navy ships must defend themselves. Type C if you believe the tactic exposed the fundamental vulnerability of Iran's approach, requiring precise coordination between a drone swarm and a surface vessel that U.S. ISR assets should have detected before it reached attack range. Drop your full analysis in the comments. The Phalanx destroyed 7 of the 11 Shahed-238s in the swarm. CRAM killed 3 more. The 11th drone, its guidance system partially disrupted by the ANSLQ-32 jamming, flew an erratic terminal path that the Phalanx's targeting algorithm assessed as non-threatening for 0.9 seconds too long before reacquiring. It struck Carney's aft superstructure at 2:27 a.m. The Shahed-238 carries an 18-kilogram fragmentation warhead, small by naval warfare standards, but detonating against the thin aluminum structure of a destroyer's communications mast at 290 kilometers per hour produces a blast radius and shrapnel pattern that is not small at all. The mast collapsed. The communications antenna array was destroyed. 4 sailors on the aft deck sustained shrapnel wounds. The ship's Link 16 data link antenna was severed. For 93 seconds, Carney was functionally blind to the network picture, unable to transmit or receive the threat data that every other ship in the convoy was seeing. Those 93 seconds were when the C-802s arrived. The British Type 23 frigate HMS Somerset, receiving Carney's last transmitted threat track before the data link went down, computed an intercept solution on both C-802s and fired 2 Sea Wolf missiles at 2:27:44 a.m., 17 seconds after Carney's mast went down. The first Sea Wolf killed the lead C-802 at 8.4 kilometers from Carney's hull. The second Sea Wolf missed its target, a guidance system timing issue that the Royal Navy's post-engagement report attributed to the extreme low-altitude sea skimming profile of the C-802, which was flying at 3.5 meters above the waterline and partially masked by the wave return on Somerset's targeting radar. The second C-802 flew through the Sea Wolf's detonation radius, damaged, its guidance system erratic, its warhead still armed. It struck Carney's hull at frame 52, 2 meters above the waterline on the port side, at 2:28:09 a.m. The 165-kilogram warhead penetrated the hull and detonated inside the ship's auxiliary machinery room. The blast killed 2 engineers instantly. It ruptured a fuel line that fed the ship's gas turbine propulsion system. The fire that followed was the defining crisis of the next 4 hours. Not the weapons damage, not the hull breach, but the fire in the machinery spaces reaching the fuel system. Carney's damage control teams, trained to Navy standard, exercised quarterly on exactly this casualty scenario, responded with precision that every post-incident review would later describe as the reason the ship survived. Flooding the machinery space with halon suppression, isolating the fuel line, shifting propulsion to the forward gas turbines, establishing submersible pump drainage against the hull breach flooding. In 22 minutes, the fire was out. The flooding was controlled. The ship was still moving, at 11 knots on reduced propulsion, listing 2 degrees to port, but moving. Subscribe and hit the bell. This is the operational depth you get here every single week. The fast attack craft that had launched the C-802s was gone by the time Carney's Link 16 came back online. It had turned north at maximum speed the moment both missiles left the rails, running for the shallow coastal waters northeast of Farsi Island, where it had a pre-positioned hide site. The P-8 Poseidon, orbiting at 22,000 feet, had tracked it from the moment it activated its fire control radar, but had been transmitting its position data to Carney, the designated threat coordinator for the convoy, and Carney's mast had been down for 93 seconds. The P-8 switched to direct transmission to USS Gravely, the second destroyer in the convoy formation, at 2:28:22 a.m. By that time, the fast attack craft was 11 kilometers north and accelerating. Gravely launched a Harpoon anti-ship missile at 2:29:44 a.m. The Harpoon seeker acquired the fast attack craft at 16 kilometers and tracked it to impact. The Iranian vessel was destroyed at 2:31:12 a.m., 4 minutes and 9 seconds after the C-802 hit Carney. The 5-person crew did not survive. The engagement's tactical summary was stark and would be studied exhaustively in the weeks that followed. 11 drones launched, 10 killed by Carney's defenses, 1 hit the mast. 2 C-802s launched, 1 killed by HMS Somerset, 1 hit the hull, 2 sailors dead, 4 wounded. 1 fast attack craft destroyed. 9 minutes from first drone detection to last enemy weapon destroyed. The Carney was damaged but operational. The attack had not achieved its primary military objective, the destruction or disabling of a U.S. warship. But it had achieved something strategically significant. It had proven that Iran's combined drone missile sequencing tactic could get a weapon through the layered defenses of the most capable surface combatant the U.S. Navy routinely deploys. That proof cost 2 American lives and a hull breach, and it changed every threat calculation in every naval operations center running convoy escort missions in the Persian Gulf. What would you have ordered as the 5th Fleet commander at 3 a.m., 32 minutes after the attack, with Carney damaged and moving at reduced speed, the fast attack craft destroyed, and Iranian coastal radars along the northern Gulf Coast still active and potentially preparing a second wave? Divert the convoy south immediately and accept the logistics disruption? Hold position and request immediate air cover from the nearest carrier air wing? Or authorize an immediate strike on the Iranian fast attack craft bases to remove the capability for a second engagement before dawn? Leave your decision in the comments. The 5th Fleet commander's decision was both. The convoy diverted south to an alternate routing that added 11 hours to its transit, but kept it beyond the engagement range of the identified Iranian coastal battery clusters. Simultaneously, an immediate airstrike authorization was transmitted to Carrier Air Wing 3 aboard USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, operating 280 kilometers southeast. 4 FA-18E Super Hornets, already airborne on combat air patrol, were retasked within 6 minutes of the authorization transmission. Their targets: 2 IRGCN fast attack craft bases on the northern Gulf Coast, Hendijan and the Farsi Island Forward Operating Base, assessed as the origin points for the attacking vessel and its support network. The Hendijan base strike at 3:44 a.m. destroyed 3 fast attack craft at the pier, the facility's fuel storage, and the communications building that coordinated IRGCN small boat operations in the central Gulf sector. The Farsi Island strike at 3:51 a.m. destroyed 2 more fast attack craft and the base's generator array, leaving the island facility without power. Both strikes used AGM-154 joint standoff weapons, glide munitions released from outside Iranian anti-aircraft gun range, guiding autonomously to GPS coordinates updated 14 minutes before weapon release. No U.S. aircraft entered Iranian-claimed territorial airspace. No U.S. pilot was in danger from Iranian defenses for the duration of either strike. The weapons flew to their targets from international airspace and arrived without warning. By 5:01 a.m., the operational picture had resolved into a shape that neither side had fully anticipated 3 hours earlier. Carney was damaged, listing, and moving at 11 knots toward the Bahrain naval base under HMS Somerset's escort. 2 sailors were dead. The fast attack craft was on the Gulf floor. 2 Iranian coastal bases had been struck. 5 more Iranian fast attack craft had been destroyed at their moorings. And the drone missile sequencing tactic that Iran had deployed for the first time in a live engagement against a U.S. warship had been partially successful. A reality that no amount of retaliatory strike could fully erase from the operational calculus. The Carney arrived at Mina Salman Pier in Bahrain at 8:17 a.m. The hull breach was assessed by naval engineers as requiring 14 days of repair. The communications suite was assessed as requiring 6 days. The 2 sailors killed in the machinery room were brought ashore at 8:31 a.m. Their names were released 11 hours later after next of kin notification. The ship's crew remained aboard during the repair period, working alongside the repair teams, because the Carney's commanding officer requested it. He said in his after-action report that his crew had earned the right to bring their ship back to fighting condition themselves. The request was approved. The tactical and technological debate that followed the Carney engagement centered on a single question that had no comfortable answer. Had Iran found a repeatable method for defeating U.S. naval point defense? The drone swarm as a defense saturation mechanism was not a new concept. U.S. naval planners had wargamed it extensively. What was new was the precise sequencing. The 11 drones timed to exhaust Phalanx and CRAM cycles, not simultaneously, but in a rapid sequential pattern that created the 0.9-second targeting algorithm hesitation that let the 11th drone through. That hesitation was not random. Post-engagement analysis of the Shahed-238 flight paths showed that the final drone had been programmed to approach from an angle that placed it in the Phalanx's tracking transition zone between 2 engagement sectors. It was not luck. It was engineering. Somebody had studied the Phalanx's sector transition geometry and designed a terminal approach profile to exploit it. That level of technical sophistication in Iranian drone engineering changed the threat calculus for every surface warfare commander in the region. It meant that the next swarm attack would not be 11 drones. It would be a larger swarm, with multiple drones programmed for sector transition approaches, specifically designed to generate multiple 0.9-second hesitations across a Phalanx's tracking cycle. It meant that the C-802s following any future swarm would face a defense that had been more comprehensively degraded before they arrived. It meant that single-ship point defense, even at Arleigh Burke standards, was no longer a reliable guarantee against a coordinated Iranian multi-domain attack. The response to that calculus was not a new weapon system. It was a formation protocol. Within 30 days of the Carney engagement, 5th Fleet updated its convoy escort guidelines to require a minimum of 2 Aegis-equipped vessels and 1 Allied frigate per convoy, with overlapping CRAM coverage geometries specifically calibrated to eliminate the sector transition exploitation angles identified in the Carney post-engagement analysis. The British Royal Navy updated HMS Somerset's Sea Wolf engagement parameters to reduce the targeting radar's wave return masking threshold, the technical factor that had allowed the second C-802 to survive the intercept attempt. The update took 11 days to develop and test. It was transmitted to every Type 23 frigate in service the same day it was certified. 2 sailors died so that a targeting parameter could be updated. That is the operational reality of naval warfare in a contested sea. That the lessons are written in casualties and hull breaches, and the corrections are written in software updates and formation protocols that the next crew will never know they needed because the previous crew already paid for them. The Carney returned to convoy escort operations on day 17, 3 days ahead of the engineering assessment. Her crew had worked through the repair period in rotating shifts, around the clock, driven by something that no maintenance schedule captures. The requirement to bring the ship back before the lesson it represented became a permanent limitation on what U.S. naval forces could do in the Gulf. On day 17, she left Mina Salman Pier at 600, transited to the convoy formation, and took her position as lead escort. The 2 sailors lost in the machinery room were represented by 2 photographs mounted inside the damage control station where they had died, placed there by the damage control chief, who asked no one's permission and received no objection. The Persian Gulf has a long memory. Every hull breach, every mast collapsed, every 2 names on a damage control station wall becomes part of the institutional knowledge that defines how the next engagement is fought. The Shahed-238's sector transition approach profile is now in the training syllabus of every Phalanx operator in the U.S. Navy. The C-802's wave return masking tactic is now in the Sea Wolf targeting update transmitted to every Royal Navy frigate. The lesson cost 2 men and 14 repair days. It is now free to every crew that follows. The Gulf does not forget what it costs to learn. It only asks whether you are paying attention. Was Iran's drone plus missile sequencing tactic at the Carney engagement a one-time exploitation of a specific Phalanx sector transition vulnerability, or the opening iteration of a repeatable multi-domain attack architecture that will evolve faster than U.S. naval point defense can adapt? What does the 93-second Link 16 outage, caused by a single drone hitting a single mast, reveal about the fragility of networked fleet defense when any node in the network can be severed by an $80,000 drone? And does the Carney's 17-day return to operations, faster than assessed, reflect genuine U.S. naval resilience or a dangerous institutional tendency to undercount the cumulative degradation of repeated small-scale engagements over time? Like the video if this breakdown delivered the analysis you came for. Subscribe and drop your tactical read on the Carney engagement in the comments. The next scenario is already in production. There is a metric buried in the Carney engagement that every surface warfare tactician will want to isolate and study separately from the rest of the incident timeline. It is the gap between the moment HMS Somerset's second Sea Wolf missed the C-802, 2:27:53 a.m., and the moment the C-802 hit Carney's hull, 2:28:09 a.m., 16 seconds. 16 seconds during which a damaged, erratically guided anti-ship missile with an armed 165-kilogram warhead was flying toward a destroyer whose mast was down, whose Link 16 was severed, and whose Phalanx was cycling back from the drone engagement. 16 seconds in which no weapon available to any ship in the convoy formation could reach the C-802 before it reached Carney. The defense had been exhausted at exactly the right moment for the attacker, not by chance, by sequencing. That 16-second window was the tactical objective of the entire operation, and Iran achieved it on the first attempt. The hull breach was the proof. The 2 names on the damage control station wall were the cost. The formation protocol update was the answer. And the question every naval planner now carries is whether 16 seconds will be enough time the next time, or whether the next sequencing will be designed to create 30 seconds, or 60, or enough time for a weapon heavier than a C-802 to arrive through the same window.